You know that feeling, right? That magnetic, almost electric pull towards someone you know is completely off limits? Well, today we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind that forbidden attraction. We're going to figure out what's really going on inside our brains.
Let's just cut to the chase. I mean, from classic literature to that secret crush you might have had back in the day, it's the same story everywhere. So what is it? Why does being told no just seem to crank up the volume on our desire?
Okay, so first up, let's get into the core psychology here. What is it about something being forbidden, a taboo, that makes it so unbelievably attractive? And hey, it turns out it's not just you. This is baked into human nature. All right, so the first big idea is something you've probably heard of, the forbidden fruit effect. Yeah, it goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. And the concept is actually super simple. When something is off limits, our brain just automatically slaps a high-value sticker on it. It's a mental shortcut, really, called scarcity bias. Our minds are basically hardwired to think, hey, if this is hard to get, it must be valuable.
And this chart, it just nails the point perfectly. There was this study back in 2010 that found when people see a potential partner as hard to get, unavailable, they instantly rate them as more attractive. And get this, it's not because that person is actually any better. Nope. It's the restriction itself that creates that spark, that electric feeling.
And this taps right into our inner rebel, thanks to something called reactance theory. Basically, when we feel like our freedom is being taken away, our gut reaction, our instinct, is to push back. We want to reclaim that freedom. So when someone tells you you can't have someone, it doesn't just sound like a rule. It feels like someone's throwing down a challenge, right?
And all of this kind of builds up into what we call the Romeo and Juliet effect. You know the story. When everyone, your family, your friends, society, is against a relationship, you'd think it would tear the couple apart. But often, it does the exact opposite. All that opposition forges this intense us-against-the-world bond. And man, that feels so romantic and defiant.
And yeah, a classic study from the 70s actually gave this a name. But, and this is a really big but, here's the reality check. Follow-up research showed that intense feeling, it usually just fades away once the obstacles are gone. It turns out the fight itself was a massive part of what made it feel so special.
Okay, so that's the psychology, but what's happening on a biological level? Let's pivot now and talk about brain chemistry, because trust me, this is where things get really addictive.
I want you to think of a forbidden relationship as a literal dopamine factory. You know dopamine, it's that brain chemical of pleasure, of reward. Well, the secrecy, the risk, it's like throwing gasoline on the fire. It supercharges the release of dopamine, and the whole experience just feels intoxicating. And what that does is create this incredibly powerful, addictive loop. So it starts with a secret encounter, right? A risky text, a hidden meeting, bam! Your brain gets flooded with this cocktail of adrenaline and dopamine. The high you get is intense. It's a lot like gambling or even extreme sports. And then what happens? Your brain wants more. It starts craving that next fix, and the whole cycle just keeps repeating and reinforcing itself.
And this brings us to a really crucial insight, one that might surprise you. A lot of the time, this isn't about wanting to leave a main relationship. It might not even be about the other person, really. As the renowned therapist Esther Perel puts it, what people are often chasing is a feeling. They're chasing that feeling of being alive, the novelty, the sheer intensity of it all.
The secrecy also does something else. It lets you compartmentalize your life. It's like you create this little fantasy bubble, a total escape from the daily grind, from all the responsibilities. And inside that secret world, you get to be a different version of yourself. Maybe a more exciting, more spontaneous version. Okay, so that high is powerful, no doubt. But it's not sustainable, and it always comes with a price. So let's take a deep breath and get real about the consequences, the part that comes after the thrill. First off, the emotional toll can be absolutely crushing. Imagine the constant need to lie, the fear of being caught. That creates this toxic cocktail of guilt and anxiety that just never goes away. And honestly, it's no surprise that studies show this time and time again. People in these situations have way higher rates of depression, and their self-esteem just plummets.
And the damage doesn't just stay with one person. Oh no, the fallout can be absolutely devastating. We're talking broken families, friendships that are just gone forever, even serious career consequences. And for the partner who's been betrayed, the trauma they experience is often compared to actual PTSD. It's that serious.
And this might be the most important thing to understand. When the secrecy is gone, when the relationship finally comes out into the open, that intense, powerful connection so often just evaporates. It disappears.
because it becomes painfully clear that the bond wasn't built on genuine compatibility. It was fueled by the thrill of the secret. So when you step back and look at it, it's a total perfect storm, right? You've got your psychology telling you, hey, this is rare, so it must be valuable. Then your biology jumps in, rewarding all the secrecy with those addictive dopamine hits. And to top it all off, you have our culture. Movies, books, TV shows, romanticizing the drama, telling us that forbidden love is the greatest love there is. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. There is a healthier path here. That feeling of excitement and passion, it's not only found in forbidden relationships. Real, lasting fulfillment, that comes from actively creating that novelty and excitement inside an honest relationship. By going on adventures together, trying new things, and just talking to each other. So, I want to leave you with this. If you ever find yourself feeling that pull, that forbidden attraction, just pause for a second and ask yourself a really important question. Are you chasing a person, or are you chasing a feeling of novelty, of being desired, of feeling alive? Because honestly, the answer to that question, well, it can change everything.